What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am your host, your bastard of ceremonies, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, if you couldn't tell by those enormous front teeth, is my sidekick watching my back in silence, the Freddie Mercury puppet. This, of course, as I said, another episode of Pod Scum. As I also said, I'm your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., and 2025 is going to finally prove that conclusively. And this is the point where I take a time out and admire the view, because rockstar genetics is a good problem to have. And when I need to get the quaff in order, folks, it might be a brand new year, but it's the same old product for your boy Rexx. Get some, use it, step your game up levels. Again, you won't look this good because, again, rockstar genes, don't hate, congratulate. But you will step up your game levels if you get some of that in your life. Today, another killer episode, man. Going to be super heavy, man. A death metal band that I really, really love. But before we get to that, let's go into shameless promotional and or plug mode here. Of course, make sure to like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook, where you'll get updates on new episodes and who will be on those episodes. Also, make sure if you're here and you're watching right now, congrats to you. You found the right place where the best conversations are happening anywhere on YouTube, maybe even on planet Earth. So if you're here, make sure to like, subscribe, smash that notification button, man, to stay tapped in. This is where it all goes down, kids. Again, as I said, at the time of this recording, it is January 21st, officially 3 weeks into the new year. And of course, at the time right now, I believe there are 276 episodes of Pod Scum up, which I would encourage you to go back and peruse. Some amazing artists on there, some amazing conversations. And also, if you're on the channel and you are a fan of pugilism, i.e. boxing in specific, if you like the knuckle game, head over to the other playlist on the channel and check out Off the Couch Boxing, which is co-hosted by yours truly, along with my son, my boy Frankie the Flamethrower. 160 amazing episodes of legends, luminaries from the boxing world, young up-and-coming fighters, man, destined for greatness, future champions. It is a treasure trove of amazing boxing content. So I would encourage you, if that's your thing, to go over and check it out. And again, let me also add the caveat on here that I don't want to gloss over this. 2025 will be the year where I will prove conclusively that you are looking at Diamond David Lee Roth Jr., the son of glam, the front man for the band, the peanut butter to your jam, adored by millions of fans. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Wop, Bop, Loo, Bop, Wop, bam, bam, shazam, hot damn. Glad I got that out of my system, I'll tell you. I've been carrying it around all day, folks. So to be able to unleash that, so as to prove to you that I not only look like the man, I sound like the man. I mean, come on, folks. And damn near every guest that's come on here has reinforced my claims that they are easily able to tell that I am Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. And very excited about today's guest, man, who is in one of the preeminent death metal bands out there doing it right now. A band that is going to be carrying the torch. I hate to say new band, because then I look on there and these guys have been around for 14 years. I mean, what's a new band anymore? Well, he's here now, so we'll get down to it and chop it up. I'm excited. Let's dive in. Let's do it. Chris, how are you, buddy?
Yo, what up, dude?
Hey, man, I'm glad I appreciate you doing this, man. And I know that with the time difference here, it's a little early on your end, man, but I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man. I'm glad we were able to finally get it done. I know we've been trying for a while and something always pops up, but
Yeah, that's all right. I know, man. Real life, real life gets in the way sometimes. It just does, I mean, I get it too, man. I got 6 grandkids. I work in healthcare. It's always busy. Something's always going on,
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man.
And,
Fuck yeah.
And so I usually like to start these things kind of at the beginning, man. Was there a specific album or an artist or a song that really got its hooks in you and made you want to do music?
I mean, it'd probably have to be like Metallica or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I just remember being really like, I don't know. The first thing that came to mind was definitely Metallica, but that's kind of what pushed me like that to want to learn to play. Like I was already playing guitar, but to focus more on like solo stuff, like learning how to solo and like trying to actually like write music, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Metallica would be one of the main ones for sure. But I mean, I'm sure there's been more. I mean, there's been different, I'm sure, bands that have influenced me to want to actually write music, especially for like death metal. Obviously, like Death being one of those, like, when I remember when I heard Death, I was like, damn, I want to write some stuff like this. And they weren't the first death metal band I heard. I had heard Morbid Angel, I think, was one of the first ones, or even maybe, no, actually, it might have been Cannibal Corpse was the first death metal band I ever heard. And
yeah.
I remember when I first heard it, I actually wasn't too stoked on it. Like, I couldn't get into the vocals because I was, more into like the classic heavy metal stuff then. And the vocals were just kind of weird, they're like, just
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on, And then, a few years after, they became one of my favorite bands. But, it just took time, I think, to kind of like, I guess, actually appreciate what's going on, But yeah, I don't know. It's been a bunch, man. But for sure, I know Metallica plays a big role in like wanting to actually like be a musician and like take things serious. Because before then I was playing guitar, but it wasn't nothing serious. It was just like the guitars were always around. Obviously, I mean, I come from. Can you still hear me?
No, I lost your video.
Oh shit! Sorry, 1 second.
That's all right.
Not sure what happened there. Huh.
There you go. There you go.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, so I come from a family of brother, the guitars and like instrument of all house, so I had picked I'd picked the instrument before, and like my brother had taught me some stuff, but I wasn't really serious until I think I started discovering like Metallica and stuff like that. And then friends from high school or middle school going into high school were also into like the same things, and they were playing guitar, and I was like, oh shit, yeah, I know how to play a little bit. And that's when I really started getting really serious about it. But yeah, if I was to name just one band, for sure it'd be Metallica.
And who do you think has had like the most, and it might be, there might be more than one answer to this, but are there a couple of guys who you feel like as a guitar player have influenced your playing the most?
Yeah, I mean, there's so fucking many, but to pick one that like, yeah, I don't know, that's tough. Probably go back to the same thing, like Kirk Hammett.
Yeah.
Or like I remember, like that's kind of how I learned how to solo. Just sitting, learning everything I could learn from Metallica, like all his solos and stuff. And that kind of started. That's how I started, and then it started pushing me, and then it started, finding obviously the more virtuoso dudes like Yngwie Malmsteen and Jason Becker, obviously. But yeah, there's so many, dude. I don't know. Definitely like I said, one of the main ones would definitely be Kirk Hammett. But I mean, I think once I found out about Jason Becker, like that was the one that I was like just trying to study the most, I guess. Like everything, like what he was doing and like his style. Even though I mean, I don't think I'm anywhere as near as good as him, but like his style and like the scales and like I mean that was one of the dudes that I definitely was like, I think super influenced by. So many I can sit here and fucking.
Well,
list of someone.
I think it's nice to hear you. It's nice to hear you being like a younger guy, man. You know, talking with such reverence about Metallica. Because I don't know, somewhere along the line, it started to seem like Metallica started to get bagged on, man. And I don't like this. Not see them get that respect that they deserve. You know what I mean? Because they did kick open the doors, like, for a lot of bands. It's nice that you haven't lost you know, that sense of like the lineage of the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel that too. I mean, and I think a lot of it has to do with like a lot of the younger people who tend to sometimes just not like something because somebody else doesn't like it. Or it's not the cool thing, you know. Same thing with Cannibal Corpse. Like, they're trying to cancel Cannibal Corpse, and like because of the lyrics, and it's like, you're listening to death metal. Like, that's what it's supposed. Like,
that's what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird time, man. I don't understand that. But yeah, no, Metallica. Like, Metallica will always be number one in my book. Like, since I was a kid, you know, that was the band that did it for me, and you know, just a lot of worship, you know.
And now you guys put out an album in 2024, Fragments of the Ageless. You know, but taking your album out of the equation, you know, now that 2024 is in the rear view, are there any albums that stood out particularly, or that you were happy to see come out, or that you enjoyed from 2024?
Yeah, there was a few. I mean, from what I've listened, I mean, I wasn't listening too much, but I really liked the new Defeated Sanity record. That was fucking awesome. What else? The new Merciless record, Merciless from France. So I know there's a bunch of different Merciless, but the new Merciless from France or whatever, that record was really good. Max sent me, I think, a link. Yeah, I just kept my eye on it. Once it actually, the full album dropped, I listened to it, and I was super stoked on it. But yeah, I'm trying to remember what else was out there that like really. A lot of people made a big deal.
A lot of people made a big deal about the Blood Incantation album.
I haven't. I think I checked out one, like the single they dropped. I don't know how many singles they dropped, but I checked out one they dropped. I wasn't too stoked on it, to be honest. I don't know. I don't really get the hype. I did like I think it was the first or second. Yeah, it might have been the first record that they dropped. I really liked that one. That one I was super stoked when I first heard it. But yeah, I haven't really. I haven't really gave it
too much psychedelic.
Like, sorry?
Too much psychedelic in there, man? Is that what's kind of turning you off?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that, because I do like a lot of different styles in psychedelic. Like, I like all the, especially like, I think the one I heard had the dude from Halas, and I'm a big Halas fan, and I picked it up right when I heard it, and I was like, holy shit, that sounds like, you know, some of the Halas stuff. And then it turned out that he was playing on that. So but it's not that. I don't know what it was. I just I wasn't too stoked on what I heard, but then again, I haven't listened to the whole thing, so I gotta actually sit down and give it a spin. But yeah, I don't know if I really listened to too much this last year. Can't really.
Well, you guys have probably been busy. You guys have probably been busy yourselves, though, I imagine.
Yeah, and I think the thing too is that, you know, we're touring so much that a lot of the times when we're driving, which is when we do the most listening, I'm not really listening to death metal, you know.
I get it. Yeah,
well, yeah, because we're playing it every night, and it's like, you know, it just gives it a change. But I remember like being here at home, and like some of the stuff I did listen to was like what I mentioned. The Merciless record, the Defeated Sanity record was cool. The new Vitriol record was good too. But yeah, I haven't really sat down with the new Blood Incantation record, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I just heard that one song, and I had some cool parts, but I just wasn't like super stoked on it. But then again, like I said, I just got to actually sit down and listen to it. I haven't had a chance, but I am a fan of the stuff they did on. I think it was the first record that when I discovered them, and I was stoked on that. What else was out there? The new Necrot was cool. There was some. There was this young band, Eternal. I think they're from Arizona. And I really liked that record they dropped. It reminded me a lot of like the stuff we were trying to do on our first record, like the early Skeletal stuff, like more of the simple. I don't know how to explain it, but I did like that one. I don't know. I can't really think of anything else at the moment. I'm sure once I get off this call, I'll be like,
you'll think of a bunch. Yeah, you'll think of a bunch. I'm glad you brought up touring. I'm glad you brought up touring though, because I obviously that's such a big part of the business now, with people not buying the physical product as much as they used to. You got to get out there, you got to sell the merch, you got to get out there in front of live audiences. Do you still like that part of the business now? You guys are like, 13, 14 years into your career. I know you got to get out there. You kind of got to live like a nomad. You know what I mean? You're in vans. You know what I mean? It's not always the most glamorous. Is that still a part of the business that you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I can't really say that because there's always ups and downs on the road. Something always happens, whether it being having, issues with your van or
right.
Just anything, and depend like weather issues or something dumb like that. But yeah, I mean, we still enjoy it. I mean, being on stage is the main reason why we do this. There's nothing like it. But yeah, it's definitely tough. It's really hard, especially now that we're older, like you said, and some of us have kids, so like leaving the families.
That's tough.
Away for so long.
Yeah.
So that's why when I'm home and not touring, like I try my best to just kind of focus on the family and not like. That's why it's kind of hard to do like the interviews and stuff because
I get it. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I try to not. I try to not put anything like put my family aside to do anything. Like yes, I mean I don't want to say that I don't do any of it. I do, but it's just I prefer not to. So like when I, as much as I can, I'll try to not like take too much time away from them because like I said, when I'm leaving on tour, I'm already fucking leaving there for a long time.
Yeah.
Especially how busy we've been these last couple of years. But yeah, no, I mean we still enjoy it. I mean we're fucking we've been doing it for so long and we're still doing it for that reason, because we still enjoy it. It's just people, you get older and, once you have kids and stuff, it's a little bit more harder, to be leaving the kids and stuff. But,
with that being said, with that being said, has that changed the length of time that you like to go out? Like what's a comfortable itinerary? I don't want to be out for longer than. Is there a right answer for that or a number for that?
Yeah. We definitely try and keep it under a month because we have gotten offers where they're like 6-7 weeks, and unless it's a really good offer where it's like, touring with one of our favorite bands or something like that, or it's just like we got to do this, and yeah, we'll do it. But usually we try to keep it under a month. But it kind of sucks because we would love for us to have. I mean, I guess we do have the control of just saying like, we're only going to tour at this time of the year, but it's like if we want to actually get out there and get get as far as we can, we kind of we got to take the sacrifices. So we just I mean it sucks every year we've gotten here, so. I don't know. It's kind of shitty, like I said, with the family involved, but it's like, luckily I have a good, I have a lot of support from my family and everybody else does in the band. And, if I have to leave, there's always a lot of support from the family and from, like somebody to be able to watch my kids or, to help me with stuff when I'm not home. So I think that plays a big role. Having the support from like my parents or, my girlfriend's grandparents or whatever it be, but
key.
But exactly, so that's like a big help with all that. But no, we usually try to keep it at most under a month, and we try to do it at least like 2 to 3 tours tops a year. But yeah, I mean, it just depends, dude. Like last year I think we did 3 or 4 tours with a bunch of like one-off stuff, and this year already, I mean, we have that Obscura tour coming up in a couple weeks, and then we go out with Warbringer North America. Yeah, we have the summer festivals in Europe, and a couple of offers for like South America and Australia for the end of the year. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff already in the works. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah, like I said, we usually try and keep it at least under a month, because once you go over that month, it's like fuck, it's a lot. And I try my best to, like, especially if we're touring like North America. There's a lot of times like we've toured North America and like kind of the winter time. So if like I think the last 3 years we haven't been home for Thanksgiving. So
that sucks. That sucks.
So like and usually there's no shows during Thanksgiving. So if I can find a flight home, I can, I'll just like hang with the family and then fly back to the tour, you know,
Yeah,
just to spend
that
time
makes
with my
sense.
kids. So I
Yeah.
try to do that when I can. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's not easy. We're out there for sure, fucking, you know, playing our hearts out and working hard.
Are you somebody that that ascribes to any kind of a regimen as far as like your voice? Obviously, like what you do, you know, singing death metal lyrics, man. You know, obviously there's a lot of physicality behind it. You know what I mean? Is it something that you just go up there and do effortlessly, or do you have like a routine, a voice care regimen, anything like that?
No, I probably should though. I probably should have some sort of regimen because there's times where, you know, I've gone up there and um it like normally happens because, you know, most of the members now live in different states. So I'm literally the only one in LA now. So we don't really get together to rehearse unless we're about to go on tour. So
Right.
we'll meet up, you know, a week before the tour and start rehearsing, or 2 weeks before the tour. So there's long periods that I take, long breaks of me not singing at all. And even when we do rehearse, like I tend to mostly focus on the playing, and then the last couple of days of the rehearsal I'll start singing. Because I don't know, I've never really considered myself a vocalist, even though I've been doing it for the last decade or so. I've always, like, my thing was always a guitar player, you know, but I somehow ended in the spot where I'm now the vocalist, or I'm
Yeah.
the vocalist. So I don't know. That's kind of always been the least of my worries, I guess, if that makes sense. But no, I don't have any sort of like regimen or anything. Like I just kind of get up there and do it. Get times when we, you know, start a tour, just because I take breaks about doing it for so long. The first week I'll feel like my voice is starting to barely warm up and get used to it. By the second week I'm good. You know, my voice is like up to speed and like it feels normal doing it every night. But the first week I'm definitely struggling, and I could tell like my voice is kind of wanting to give out, and then it gets better. But yeah, I've never really taken like any sort of vocal lessons or like trying to. I just kind of get up there and do it, and with time I've kind of learned what works for me and what doesn't, as
Right.
far as like ranges and like what I can and can't do. And yeah, I don't know, just yeah, I've never really had anything like that. But I mean, I probably should look into it, because in the long run it probably will help. But as of now, I kind of just get up there and do it.
And what's the creative process like when the band gets together now? Because you, if I'm not mistaken, are the only original member still left. You've had some lineup changes, correct?
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
what?
there's been quite a few.
Yeah, and so what's the creative process like when you guys get together? Like, let's say to make this last album, are you bringing in the lion's share of the ideas? Is it collaborative? Is everybody contributing?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, that's usually how I try to do it. I always want everybody to put in some sort of effort and like try to help with it, obviously, because it's a band. If not, it would just be a solo project, you know. um but actually, it's me and Mike, we're the original members. We're the one that started the band. The other guitar player, Mike,
Yep.
for came back, but me and him are pretty much the main ones to do most of the writing. So it's mostly just in him, going back and forth, sharing ideas. For the last album, yeah, the last album he was still living here in LA, so we were just together. He moved. I'm it's probably going to be like, we're starting to talk about writing new stuff, and I got some ideas that I'm sure like got to it. He's supposed to be in actually. Um, yeah, it's kind of gonna sit down and share some ideas together and like try to put something together. But yeah, I don't know. Usually it's like for the last record, it was me and Mike that most of the writing. We always, whatever we come up with, we would send it to the rest of the guys and just kind of get like, you know, some feedback on it, and if they had any ideas on like where to go next, or if they wanted to make any changes or anything like that. But yeah, it's mostly been me and Mike that do most of the writing.
What was the most recent
And
lineup change? Well, who's the newest member of the band? When's the last time you actually had a lineup change? For a while, you guys were without a drummer or between drummers. Is that the last lineup change there's been? A new drummer?
yeah, new drummer. Right now we don't have an official drummer. We're kind of just hiring people, whoever's available. I'm not really sure if we'll jump straight to finding someone right away. We kind of want to take our time and see if we
get the right guy.
Pick the right guy
Yeah.
instead of like keep changing every fucking album cycle. So right now we're using this dude Rustin, who's fucking awesome. And he's been doing the most. He did, I think, 2 tours with us, 1 tour with us, and then he's doing this whole year. He's working with us, so he's like the newest guy. But besides that, before the drum changed, I think we had the same lineup for like 3 or 4 years, and 2 of the members were in Portland, like Pacific Northwest area. So, could fly, to come down and help us with writing and stuff. So that was really helpful for sure. Just having that extra person really helped. Kind of when we would get stuck and stuff, or like we just couldn't get anywhere with like a certain idea, he was really good with like helping us, like guide us in the right direction or whatever. But yeah, mostly it has been or me. And then for the earlier records, it was more of a band. Like everybody was involved in those first 2 records. Everybody was kind of throwing ideas on that one. But yeah, as far as the lineup change, it's just been the drummer as of now. Right now, we don't have a drummer at the moment, but we're using Rustin, who's kind of been helping us with everything we have lined up, and he's going to be helping us with everything we have lined up for this year. But yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, we'd love for him to stay, but like I said, we just don't want to jump the gun. We want to make sure we pick the right guy, and after being on tour with like, I don't know, it's just like touring with somebody and like just being in a band, it's a whole different thing, like being with somebody all the time on tour. Like for example, the last drummer, like just things didn't work out. So we just want to make sure we tour with someone and things are clicking before we actually. Yeah, the chemistry. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. And so when you guys sit around and you do create music, obviously attention spans have dwindled. People aren't listening and consuming music the way they used to. Do you guys sit around and think about the amount of songs or the amount of minutes that you want an album to come in at, or is that not something that enters the equation? Because it seems like nowadays, it seems like you brought up Metallica earlier. It seems like long gone are the days when you get a 75-minute Metallica album. People just aren't dropping the needle and listening to music. It seems like they want their music quick. They want to pick what tracks they like the most. They're dancing all over the place. Something is old, relatively quick, and they're moving on to the next thing. Do you think about that? Geez, we want this album to come in at, this amount of time, or we want to put this many tracks on there.
I guess we do think about the length as far as like how many minutes, because usually we try to keep our records like around 40 minutes, and usually that's usually what the label wants, 35 to 40 minutes. But we don't really think about it as we're writing. We kind of just write songs, and then, for example, we'll write 15 songs, and then we'll pick whichever ones we think are the strongest, and then put those into the record and figure out in which order we want them to be on the record and stuff. But it's something that comes at the end, not during the writing. That's just at the end. Like once we have everything, we'll be like, all right, well, we need 40 minutes. So, but we've never really. I mean, we've had, like for the 3rd record, Divine Mortality, we had like 3 or 4 songs, I think, that didn't make that record. And yeah, we were just like, nah, let's keep it at 40 minutes. Instead, we thought 3 of the songs were a little bit more on the weaker side, so we just didn't want to use them. But yeah, I don't know. We usually, we just try to keep it at 40 minutes. So we normally try to keep it as like 8 to 10 songs at the most. If there's like interludes and stuff in between songs, and obviously it'll be like 10, 11 songs. But if it's just music, it's usually like 7 to 8 songs.
And what goes into, like, what's the recipe like for you guys creating like a great song? What typically comes first? Does it start with a line, a title, a riff? Like what's the recipe for you guys?
Always a riff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always, that's the first thing that comes, a riff. And then, yeah, it just depends. Like some people write a riff and be like, let's see, like that's something, like let's start the song, and then that riff doesn't even end up on that song. It'll lead us to a song, but we end up just taking that riff out. We're like, I don't know if it works with the rest, so we end up just taking that whole riff out, and the songs are already done without that. If that makes sense, I don't know, but yeah, it just depends. It's usually, yeah, for us, it's usually the music first. Like the lyrics are usually the last thing that comes. The titles are the last thing that comes. We're mostly just focused on, starting the song with a really good riff, and the whole song. That's kind of what, we try to base it off of, just really good riffs, because that's kind of how I feel like, for example, like Metallica being one of our biggest influence, like the fucking riffs just made the songs for me, really fucking hooky, like catchy, catchy riffs and stuff. So that's kind of what we try to do, just write really good riffs, and then all the lyrics and the titles and all that stuff, that always comes at the end.
And now you guys always like to put your work out in the form of an LP, right? Because we have seen post-COVID, we've seen a lot of music come out in singles form, or people shortening up their bodies of work and putting out EPs. Do any of those formats work for you guys, or you guys consider yourself an LP band?
We've thought about doing stuff like that. Yeah, like we wanted to do a single, but I don't know why it never happened. I think it just didn't work out. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, yeah, we don't mind. We're pretty open to whatever, dude. Like, yeah, obviously releasing a record is a big thing, so we always try to release a record, but like, I don't know why we've never done that. Now that you bring it up, I mean, we've definitely talked about it in the past, or even like an EP. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure why we've never done that, but yeah, we're open to it. We just haven't gotten around to doing it yet, I guess.
Well, I think sometimes, man, especially post-COVID, man, like I feel like people are doing EPs, again, goes back to the attention spans, having really dwindled on people, and they just don't sit down and just consume and listen to albums like, from top to bottom anymore. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know if it's necessarily an EP world. It is nice to hear full-length albums. And I think sometimes, especially like in the metal world, I feel like a lot of those albums are conceptual in nature. You know what I mean? Like there is a certain ebb and flow to it. Is that something that goes into the thought process? Because I've learned from talking to musicians on here that, yeah, great songs, great riffs, as you mentioned, all important. But do you guys sit down and conscientiously think about how an album flows? Because obviously the sequencing and the arranging, I've learned, is a pretty big part of an album too.
Yeah, definitely. We usually try to make sure the album's gonna flow with each song and stuff, and we definitely pay attention to all that detail for sure. But yeah, I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know why we've never really done an EP or anything like that, or a single even. But yeah, I mean, it might happen in the future. We just haven't done it. We've usually just like sat down and after we're done with the touring cycle for a record, we're like, all right, let's take a break and write some new music, and it just ends up being a bunch of songs and for the next record. You get me? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe we're just on that pattern of like releasing a record, touring, writing, releasing a record, touring. So it's kind of the way it's been working for the last decade or so. So I think during COVID, I mean, we released a record right when COVID started, so we weren't doing anything, and coming out from releasing or just recording a record and releasing it and not being able to tour was just really weird for us. So we're like, okay, let's try to write write some more music. And we had thought about like, hey, maybe we'll write 1 or 2 songs and just do singles or something. But yeah, those 2 songs just ended up going on the new record.
Yeah. And when you're around the house and you're listening to music from a fan standpoint, are you somebody that is able to find like new music that excites you, that you enjoy, or do you tend to fall back on like your old favorites?
Both. Yeah. Sometimes I'll like just be listening to Spotify or something, like an album, and an album finishes and then just randomly takes you to something else.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, what the fuck? What is this? I've never heard this. And I'll discover something new. So yeah, I'm a little bit of both. I mean, yeah, I mean, I listen to both, you know, older stuff or newer stuff, like newer bands, like yeah, I'm trying to think of some examples, but yeah, I mean, definitely, yeah, I mean, I take influence from both. From as long as the music's good, it doesn't matter, you know, even if it's old or new. I'm not like, oh, we only take influence from old bands. Now we like newer bands as well. So yeah,
And what's the impetus? And what's the impetus with your songwriting? Like when you're going to actually write lyrics, man, like where's the inspiration that you draw from? Like, are you somebody that like, you know, pulls things from real life, from the news, from movies? You know what I mean? Like what's the main like thing that kind of kickstarts the creativity for you?
Oh, it's all over the place, dude. Usually it's me and Mike. We'll start brainstorming like, hey, what, like this song needs lyrics. Like, do you have any ideas of what you want to write about? And we'll just kind of throw ideas around and be like, and like, yeah, it can come from anywhere, like just like current life events that are happening, or just an idea in a documentary or, you know, a movie or something. And we thought that we really liked the idea, and we'll just kind of take the idea and just make it our own. But yeah, it just depends. It really just depends. I mean, it's kind of all over the place. It's not really, we don't just go to one thing. It's just, you know, what we think of at that time and at that moment. But yeah, I mean, we've written about different things, fucking, you know, alien stuff to fucking actual like life events, or like, yeah, I don't know, just different shit. Like there's some songs on the fourth record that Mike wrote. Mike writes a lot of the lyrics, so there's a lot of stuff that he wrote about, like, of stuff that he was going through at the moment, you know, like, yeah, I don't want to get too much into detail, because I also like, I want the fans to have their, like, to make their own idea of our lyrics, you know?
Right. Yeah, how they interpret them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't want to be like, oh, it's about this, you know, just you listen to it and take it, you know, make your own idea out of it.
And now, who's the one that comes up with the name for the band, Skeletal Remains? And were you aware that there was another Skeletal Remains that did a demo in 1994 from Connecticut?
Yeah, we weren't aware when we first chose the name. The name was chosen actually by two of the last members. All three of us got, because originally the band name was Anthropophagy, which came from, all the names we've had actually came from Demolition Hammer lyrics. We're huge Demolition Hammer fans. Yeah. Like their lyrics, I think, like, that's like, they have the best fucking lyrics. But anyways, all our names came from that, and Anthropophagy was the first one, and there was another one, I can't think of the name right now, but I know it was definitely from a Demolition Hammer lyric. And then like left, about to release a demo, and we weren't sure about the name, so we ended up choosing Skeletal Remains. Yeah, we were aware of the other Skeletal Remains back then, but we did find out about them maybe like 5 years ago. We were getting a bunch of messages from some of the members, I guess, from that band, and they were
from the members.
Yeah, like, and like, just being fucking dick, and just being like, you stole our name and I don't know what, and saying they were gonna like sue us for the name.
That seems so crazy. That seems so crazy though, dude, because they literally didn't accomplish or go anywhere though. I mean, you know, in my research, I only came up with them. You know, they were out of Connecticut. They did a demo, and that's it. So I mean, like, and I mean, and for my records here, it's 1994, for God's sake. I mean,
yeah,
you know, 3 freaking decades ago. I mean, you know. I mean, you're not out there currently doing anything, man, and you're just sitting idly by, and you haven't copyrighted or trademarked the name. I mean, it's ripe for the picking. You know, someone's going to come along and take it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, but if you were like actually still active and still doing shit, then I would understand. But you're not doing shit. It's like, yeah. And then the way they came about it, like, they started. I guess they started having friends like join the fucking, you know, start like messaging us too, and then they just started being like, Yeah, it started being really bad. Like the messages were getting really bad. They were being like racist, and we're just like, dude, fuck these people. So yeah, we just blocked, and it calmed down after they got they got the message that we weren't going to respond. But yeah, I think it was. I'm not sure who it was from the band, but he was the first one to message us and be like, "Hey."
And did it start instantaneously, or did it start like a little bit into your career once you guys started getting some traction and starting to make some noise in the metal world?
Yeah, it started like right once we started actually getting like out there.
Yeah.
I think after the second record or going into the third record, I think that's when we started seeing it. And yeah, like we would start seeing it on our fucking videos, like our music videos or whatever. Like like you'd see the comment like, "Oh, these fuckers stole our name. We're the real Skeletal Remains." Like this is like, yeah, this stupid shit. It's like, oh my god, dude.
You're the real Skeletal Remains, but you can't show us a goddamn album ever. I mean,
yeah, it was pretty dumb, but yeah, whatever. I was just like, yeah, they're probably just bored, whatever. Just.
And then what about from a fan standpoint? A couple subjective questions here. From a fan standpoint, has there been a time where you've been in the audience, and you've watched a show and you've been blown away? Are there any people you've got to see live that have really stuck with you?
I mean, yeah, that's the reason why I play music, I think, because just seeing a band and being like, holy shit, this is so sick. But yeah, I mean, there's been a lot, man. Back to Metallica, like seeing Metallica, yeah. That was the first, like, it wasn't the first band, but it was the first metal band I seen.
Me too.
And I was like, I want to say I was in seventh or sixth grade.
Yep.
And yeah, my dad took me, but my dad was like, he wasn't, he did not listen to Metallica or anything like that, but he's like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to go to the show, but I'll take you and I'll wait for you outside.
Yeah.
It was cool. He took me, he dropped me off, and I was supposed to meet some friends there from school, but I don't know what happened. I just couldn't get in touch with them. So I just went alone and I saw them and I was just fucking blown away. And
hey, I'm going to see them in April, and I'm just as excited. I'm going to see them here in upstate New York in April, and I'm just as excited as I was when I was a fucking teenager. I'm not so much excited about how much I had to fucking pay for the ticket. That's a little bit of a different story, man. I'm not as excited as I was back when I was 15 and spending far less money to see them, man. But I guess they've earned the right, though, man. Like, they are fucking bona fide legends, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I just saw them too, like maybe a year ago, I think, when they did those. What was that they were doing, the 2 nights, different sets? I saw them here in LA, and I was.
Yeah, I kind of think they're doing that. I kind of think they're doing that now, and they're alternating like the lineup, man. So they're coming with 2 bands, and it alternates every other stop. And I don't mean any disrespect to Limp Bizkit or Ice Nine Kills, but that's 2 of the bands. But on our stop, we're getting Pantera and Suicidal Tendencies. Cool. So I'm very stoked about that. Yeah, that's a nice bill.
Yeah. When I saw him, it was Pantera, and I think I think it was Pantera and Eddie Van Halen's son, Wolfgang, I think.
Yeah. And I'm sure Suicidal got the spot, obviously, because obviously Rob's son is playing bass in Suicidal Tendencies now, right. So that probably helps get them that spot. But it is nice to see them taking a band like that out, though, because I feel like Suicidal is been one of those bands that's been there for a long, long time, and just like, they seem like they, I know they do the festivals, and I know they have a great fan base or whatever, man. But it's nice to see bands like that like get on a show where they're going to be opened up to a lot more eyes and ears, Yeah,
man. Fuck yeah, I agree. But yeah, definitely Metallica was one of those. There's so many, dude. Obituary. I remember when I first seen Obituary, I was blown away. Suffocation too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many. I'm trying to think what was like the most recent one that I.
Well, how about the Pantera reunion, man? Like, where do you stand on that? Because you're probably like a young guy, like you probably never got to see them with the Abbott brothers, correct?
Yeah, no, never. No, never seen them with them.
And so obviously this opens it up to a lot of people that get to see them that otherwise may not have had the opportunity, man. Like, are you a fan of the current version of Pantera and them continuing on, even though we no longer have the Abbott brothers?
Yeah, I mean, when they played with Metallica, I thought they sounded great. I don't have anything against it. I mean, I thought it was cool. I do think it's a little bit weird to do it without them. Yeah. But I don't think it would ever happen with them. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not that big of a fan, I think, to be able to like say much, because if I was like a huge fan, then I'd be like, no, I don't know. I don't know. But I think what they sounded great. And I mean, what other person to do it besides, you know, Dimebag? Like Zach Wild is perfect. I think they're fucking best friends, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool that they're doing it. I mean, a lot of people, like I said, even younger people who never got a chance to ever see Pantera are able to. So I think that's cool. And sure, and you still have Phil and Rexx, you know. So it's like, yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, why the fuck not?
And now, if you had to put together the Mount Rushmore, the top 4, and again, this is another subjective question, who would your Mount Rushmore of death metal be? Who are the 4 goats in your eyes?
Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. I don't know.
Would we put Cannibal Corpse on there? Would Cannibal Corpse be on there?
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cannibal would be up there. Morbid Angel, Death. Oh, that 4th one is hard. Yeah, I don't know. That's like
Obituary. Do they belong on there?
I want to say they do, but it's like, but then why doesn't Gorguts belong up there? Gorguts,
right?
Like I don't know. That's hard, man. That's hard for sure.
Gorguts is a band. Yeah, I agree with you. Gorguts is a band that doesn't get the love and appreciation that they deserve, man. I think maybe some of it is maybe just like the lull of like the rate that they put music out. You know what I mean? But when they do put shit out, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's top quality, man. They're fucking They don't have a bad record. Like, yeah, Gorguts is fucking, and for how much their music has changed with time, and not having a bad record, that's pretty. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, I don't know. That's tough, dude. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I mean, for sure, I know Morbid Angel and Death would be up there. And Cannibal as well.
Cannibal Corpse? Okay, so I'll pose it to you this way: out of the 2 different Cannibal Corpse eras, are you a Chris Barnes guy or a Corpse Grinder guy?
Corpse Grinder.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Don't get me wrong. I fucking love the classic shit, but once they got Corpse Grinder, they just went a different direction, dude. And it was fucking amazing.
As a death metal vocalist yourself, man, like where did the music change, man? What did Corpse Grinder bring to that band?
Oh man.
Other than that impressive neck.
Yeah. No. I think the range. And I love Chris Barnes too, you know, like that low guttural stuff, but I just think I don't know, Corpse Grinder, like I don't know how to explain it to you, but I just think he was fucking perfect for that band. Even with Monstrosity too, you know, before Cannibal, like I don't know, I just think Corpse Grinder is fucking awesome.
And plus too, like if you're gonna create like a fucking like if you were able to invent your death metal frontman, man, you know what I mean, you'd want him to look big and scary and intimidating like Corpse Grinder, you know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, he's sick, dude. I mean, fuck, like, and not just the vocals, like once Chris Barnes left and Corpse Grinder came in, like the music just got so much a lot more technical, and actually like I don't know, like I don't want to talk shit on the early stuff because that's the stuff that I started with, you know, those are my roots, but like the later stuff, like I feel like there was more, the music was more thought out, like when it was being written, I guess, like everything was like I don't know how to explain it, but and I feel like that's kind of what we've tried to do with Skeletal Remains. Like obviously like our early stuff is like super simple, you know, easier riffs, but now we're actually like our focus is to write a really good fucking song, very well structured, and something that's gonna, you know, like really stick to you, I guess, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I definitely lean more towards the Corpse Grinder era stuff, and yeah, just his range, and you know, I think not that it matters, but like being more audible, like understanding like all his, I don't know, it's just more catchy, I guess, to me.
Yeah, yeah. And so what will 2025 hold for you guys, man? Like, obviously you're going to be going out on this tour with Warbringer, man, which is a cool package, man. Like, I like when they kind of throw thrash and death metal bands together, add a little diversity, like to the you know, a little diversity to the bill. So you got that tour coming up, man. And do you anticipate, are you guys always writing music? Like, are you already, you know, you put an album out in 2024. Are you already thinking about the next album?
Yeah, we're thinking about it, but we haven't like, I have some riffs and stuff, but I haven't actually sat down and like tried to actually structure a song yet. We just have ideas. Like I said, me and Mike have some ideas to get like that we have. Like I said, we're supposed to start preparing for the European tour we have here in a couple weeks, and we just talked about it. Like, hey, when you come down here, let's see if we could work on some stuff. You know, I got some ideas to show you, and so does he. So yeah, I mean, we've thought about it, and it just like usually after each record, like, and after the touring cycle, like I'll start to get that itch and it's starting to come, like where it's like,
yeah,
all right, I should start writing some shit, but yeah, like I don't know. As far as like for the rest of what the rest of the year looks like, I mean, we have this Obscura tour coming up in like a week and a half or 2 weeks in Europe, and then we come back and take a break for a couple of weeks, and then we do that Warbringer run, and we have some festivals in the summer in Europe, and there's just a bunch of offers on the table for like different stuff, South America, some stuff in Australia at the end of the year, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it works out, but yeah, our plan is just to, you know, stay busy, and I definitely, like I said, I've been definitely getting an itch to start writing some stuff. So I know for sure we'll be starting to write some more material this year.
And where's the best place when people want to get tapped in with what Skeletal Remains is doing, man? Like, obviously everybody's has to have a social media presence nowadays, man. Like, you know, you guys have a proper website, or is it best to check Facebook, Instagram?
We do have a website. We have all that stuff, but I think the best way to stay in touch is definitely social media, because we run that ourselves. And
yeah,
you know, if anybody wants to reach out or have a question, like that's actually us on there. So just, yeah, reach out on there, and we're usually trying to update it as much as we can. Like I said, it's hard because, you know, it's hard to manage all that social media shit, especially when we're doing it ourselves, you know, manage that, and then all the shit we got going on in our personal lives. Times
it's kind of odd how it all comes down to that nowadays, man. Like, sometimes, man, you don't even have to, you see these people getting popular in music, and they don't even have to necessarily have a lot of talent, man. But if they're out there pimping themselves and they're out all over social media, man, suddenly, man, they're a big deal. You know what I mean? Sometimes it seems like it's less about the talent and more just about, like, you know what I mean, how active they are, which is kind of sad in a way.
I agree 100%. And I think that's happening a lot in death metal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like, it's not even about music anymore. It's about, you know, who has the funniest post, or, you know,
who's got followers, who's got subscribers, all that shit.
Or who has the best Photoshop fucking, you know, talent or whatever. You know, it's not even about music. But whatever, you know, I think in the end, it's just a phase. You know, in the end, people are gonna. It all comes back to the music and what that
true talent will prevail. It will. I believe that too. Yeah. But, listen, man. Listen, bro, I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this, man. And I appreciate you making time, man. I know you're a busy guy, man. I respect the fact that when you're off the road, man, you don't like to do these things and you like to keep it to the family or whatever, man. So I appreciate you carving out a little bit of time, man. I definitely keep in touch, man. You're a great guest. I'd love to have you back on again for sure, man. So just stay in touch.
Cool, man. Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me, and sorry once again that it took so long to get it done.
Yeah, no worries. This is a side. I mean, it's a side hustle for me too. Like I said, I'm a busy guy too. I mean, I have a day job. I work as a nurse. You know, all my kids are grown, but I've got 6 grandkids that are always over here in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? So I know carving out some time is not always easy, man. But yeah, I appreciate you doing it, man. And really, I love what you guys do, man. I'm a huge fan, man. At the end of the day.
Cool, man. Thank you so much for having me. And let's stay in touch, dude. Maybe after the new album or something, once we release something else, I can jump back on here. Probably have
absolutely love to have you back. Yeah, cool, appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, brother. Good talking to you, my man.
Like, good one, man. Bye.
All right, later, brother. There he goes, folks. That is Chris Monroy, frontman and guitar player for the mighty Skeletal Remains. Skeletal Remains. I'll say it in my regular voice because I'm not a death metal guy. That might be an insult to death metal singers right there, what I just attempted to do. I don't know where that came from. The real Skeletal Remains, not those clowns that made a demo in 1994. Get the fuck out of these guys' DMs, man. It's not your name anymore. You didn't do shit with it when you had it, man. The real boys are out there kicking ass, man. Their last album, 2024's Fragments of the Ageless, a fucking face melter. A real fucking legit banger, man. That's all these guys seem to put out, man. They've got the formula down pat, man. They're carrying the fucking torch. The Cannibal Corpses and the Obituaries and the deaths and some of the bands that we talked about in the interview. They started that path. They paved the way, man. And bands like Skeletal Remains, who are not a new band. They've been doing it since 2011, man. But they are at the forefront, one of the preeminent bands out there doing it right now to a fucking high degree, man. And love what they fucking do, man. And me and Chris have been talking for a while offline, man. And schedules conflicting, but we finally got it nailed down, man. And I appreciate him doing it because I certainly respect his commitment to his family. And I salute that always, man. So carving out a little bit of time when he's off the road and trying not to think about music as much. I really appreciate it, man. It's guys making sacrifices like that allow me to do this and have these great conversations and give them to you guys. So really appreciate CHRIS Monroy for coming on here, man. Go check out Skeletal Remains. That is in order, man. If heavy, brutal, old school sounding death metal is your thing, and let's face it, if you're tuned into this, it's your thing. And also, whose fucking thing isn't it? I mean, come on, man. Great fucking death metal done to a fucking high degree. The way the boys in Skeletal Remains do it, man. Yeah, go check them out. And like I said, the last album was just last year, Fragments of the Ageless. Go check out that. Go check out the whole discography. Go to the website. If they're coming to a town near you, go peep a show. Get some merchandise, man. Let's make sure that we're lifting our artists up out there, man, that are out there grinding and giving us a piece of themselves and giving us their art. That being said, again, let me thank CHRIS Monroy, and let me also remind you guys again to like and follow Pod Scum on Facebook, and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay tapped in, man. This is where it all goes down. The best conversations right here. And like I always say when I end these things, and yes, it is a brand new year, but your boy Rexx is still ascribed to the same old motto, and that is take it easy and keep it sleazy.